we have had a busy night turning into another busy morning with severe weather concerns. Obviously, all eyes going to be on the heat over in the Northeast. But prior to that, we've got some more potential for thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon for the I-95 corridor.
It doesn't end, and it's been a pretty active month, right? And May, also a very active month. Let's talk about some of the lingering severe storms firing off across portions of the plains this morning. Good morning to you in Chicago, over into Rogers, Arkansas, Joplin, Missouri, all dealing with rain at some point, maybe even stormy conditions as some of this energy that we were watching yesterday moves to the east, affecting places from the Great Lakes into the Ohio Valley today. This morning, we have got some storms that have been producing a lot of rain, slow moving, and some flooding concerns. We've got a couple of flash flood warnings in place in and around northern suburbs of Oklahoma City, rather. And then, Zach, look at this widespread area. While it's losing some of its umph, it still has some energy and has brought a lot of rain to these locations. Here's that one of the flash flood warnings for Oklahoma through 6 o'clock this morning to the north of here. And we've got another one just north of it as well. A couple of them here.
Yeah, really steady rainfall and really not progressing all that much to the east. So it's locked overhead on I-40 at the moment, just in time for everybody to start waking up for school, waking up for the morning rush. And it seems to be that line just sort of tracing out the main thoroughfare there. And then again, areas east, we're already dealing with such intense conditions on Tuesday, both in the morning and then once again in the evening. So that's why you get that bullseye right around Wichita. They had wind damage at 101 miles per hour yesterday morning at this time, and then they were coupled with some tornadic activity at the end of the day. They weren't the only ones, though. The Front Range of Colorado getting in the mix with some tornadoes as well as really large hail.
Boy, those storms firing off the Front Range, all of that energy, even off of the portions of Wyoming, rather, were a concern. Today, we have a level 3 out of 5 threat from southern Michigan back and through portions of Illinois, southern Illinois, into Missouri as well. But really, when you think about it, this afternoon, what you want to watch for, obviously it's hot, it's humid this morning. When you step out, you'll notice that. But then if you get some clearing during the afternoon, because you're going to have some scattered showers, Zach, I tell you what, that will add to the instability. And look at all of the moisture getting fed up from the Gulf.
Yeah, and I-57 from St. Louis up into Chicago, that's going from south to north. Even though you don't have anything on the map for the moment, all of the ingredients are there. So dew point is 71 in Indy, 70 degrees in St. Louis, 67 in Soupy in Chicago. So yes, we have the dew points high, we have the front to the west, we have the ability to get some of the damaging winds, and we have the rotational aspect as well. I think the northern side of this flank is actually the better case to have some tornadic activity later today as it's closer to the center of this low.
Yeah, exactly. Plenty of moisture to work with right there and plenty of energy for this to potentially spin. This afternoon, something to watch. Here's where we've got some of the stronger storms, and look at the high energy that's in place for us, especially this afternoon. Again, watching. If you get some storms this morning or cloudy conditions, you get some breaks, you know the drill. It adds to the instability, kind of cooks the atmosphere up, if you will. Right now, we're basically primed with all the humidity in place you talked about. Here's your timestamp for the exclusive Fox weather model, 9 o'clock this morning. And look at this. You can see the spin right there. Right in through there. And then as we go through the afternoon, some of these storms pick up. And to the evening hours, they go far south into places like Oklahoma as well.
People call us first responders, but we usually arrive after people standing nearby start giving aid. So there were neighbors nearby trying to open up windows to get the water out of the building. They were lucky to be not in the path of this directly whenever it did give out.
You're taking a look at some of the destruction in Fairmont, West Virginia. Days of flash flooding that turned deadly, unfortunately, in West Virginia. Residents now dealing with all of that damage. 3 to 5 inches of rain fell in Wheeling in just a matter of hours, leading to dozens of reports and water rescues. Sadly, the governor of West Virginia confirming on Tuesday that at least 7 people have died in Ohio County alone from the floods, and multiple people are unfortunately still missing. These storms will begin to ramp up across the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast today, and we do have all of the same characteristics back on the table. Damaging winds, rain going to be threatening the I-95 corridor, but that is for tomorrow. We just outlined what today's potential is, and we're expecting to have, in anticipation of any additional rain, more flash flooding issues, which is why we still have a flash flood watch in effect technically over the next 60 minutes. I'm expecting that to possibly be extended as we get any additional rain on a saturated ground with 50 reports. All of these squiggly lines that you see here are individual flood reports. So it's not just obviously the rain, it is the true flooding that has taken over to go along with the damaging wind. Not seeing much in the way of that as of now. Remember that the front is still well off to the west, so we're still looking out into into the Chicago area and down towards OKC. What we have in here is just a weak trough. So it's a little bit of energy, but it's enough to spark things off and give us the possibility of those severe storms later today.
Well, you think about it, it doesn't have to be widespread, just how saturated it is from the weekend, yesterday, the day before. And I'll tell you what, Zach, we've got topography here. We could squeeze out some more moisture. Then you head over portions of the Appalachians. You head over into the mid-Atlantic, and you've got dew points into the 70s at this hour. It is soupy out there. Just look at the pictures from Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. It's gray out there. There's a lot of haze. That's the humidity in place. So we got to watch that closely. We also could see some strong storms today, producing some strong winds over the mid-Atlantic. This is from places like Trenton, New Jersey, all the way back through Baltimore, D.C., even to portions of the Delmarva today. So that potentially could be a concern for anybody driving, especially high-profile vehicles. Watching that one closely for the day before we see more activity tomorrow there.
That's definitely on the lower end. We're only at a 1 out of 5, but it is still the possibility that we get to that 40-mile-per-hour wind gust potential. We're not talking sustained winds, but look at the timestamp. We're going to be going into probably the mid to late afternoon hours. So soupy, foggy, low visibility already in the Big Apple as well as D.C. on the left-hand side of your screen. Tomorrow, all of those locations are going to be changing over into severe weather threat that the Central Plains are dealing with as of now. That front eventually reaching 95. So this is going to be taking us all the way from the Crown of Maine right down into western North Carolina. So expecting to have a bit more of a headache on tap as we go into Thursday rather than today. We'll keep a very close eye on that.